So again, hi everyone. My name is Walt. I'm going to be talking a little bit about how I use GitHub as a designer. I'm a design lead at Watchful. We make security software. If that sounds interesting, let's chat later. It's a really weird time in tech right now. Not just because AI exists, but rather the fact that AI is changing who can produce the artifacts and deliverables that come out of product development when we make software, mostly web. The old boundaries used to be a little bit clearer. Designers would stay in their wireframing tool, create some wireframes, create some user flows. Product managers would just write stories, do some research, work on the roadmap, and engineers wrote code in GitHub. I mean, it was never that neat, but we had our disciplines. But now, tools like Claude, Design, Google Stitch, causing mass hysteria and causing designers to think that we're being replaced by developers and product managers and vice versa. But I guess the reality is anyone can now produce polished screens and skip the entire workflow completely. It may look quite polished, but doesn't change the fact that it might be overcooked. Designers and developers can write product specs and do nice sounding roadmaps now with ChatGPT. And we have tools like Cursor for designers who are stepping on developers' toes with vibe-coded prototypes and, well, really sloppy PRs. Oh, right, there's one more thing. We also have full self-service vibe-coded apps. And with all the things I've talked about, everyone tries to use that deliverable as the source of truth for the feature or the product that you're working on. Your CEO might have a base 44 prototype or a prototype put together with Copilot and say, this is the product spec, work to it. A designer might still have, a designer might have a Cursor prototype and say, this is the spec now, work with it. And vice versa for developers doing Google Stitch mockups. But the problem is this causes confusion, and all of these things in isolation are not shippable products. And I'm going to be talking a little bit about how the confusion and how everyone is everything now can be tamed a little bit with how I use pull requests in GitHub with my PR-centered design workflow. I mean, my thinking around this has mostly been to create a single place for documentation and product decisions. I'm not sure about you guys, but a lot of our product decisions get made in Slack, then they get lost. Someone writes up a Notion doc, it gets lost. Someone puts together a branch with a deploy preview of a feature prototype. No one looks at it because it's thrown aside somewhere. I am going to be talking a little bit about how I tame that. Also, given I can't use real work, I have a little demo I put together last night for you. So the way I like to work is I start every feature with a draft PR. Traditionally, you do all your product speccing, your design thinking, your wireframing all up front. You make your product decisions up front, then you hand it to your dev as a ticket. I flipped that around. I started as a draft PR while the idea is still forming, while the specs are still ambiguous. It becomes one place for all of the product intent. You don't have to write a whole bunch of specs, but it's a good starting point. We then use it as sort of a design room. So you might have one colleague put together a lovable prototype. You take some screenshots, you take a share link, you paste it in the thread, in the PR thread, as one direction you'd like to go. And that way you keep it synced with the feature. So every feature lives in a PR, and you just keep everything there. So no Notion files, no Confluence docs. Everything related to that feature lives in the PR. You just paste everything, you dump everything in there, as you develop. It helps keep it closer to reality because at the end of the day, your users aren't touching the prototypes. They're touching whatever you have in production, and whatever you have in production is typically in your main branch. The final piece is, as we're talking about the feature development, as we're leaving comments, whoever is actually building the feature in the repo has CI/CD set up so that as those changes are shipped and built, we deploy a live preview. You can use whatever tool you want. I'm a big fan of Cloudflare Pages, Cloudflare Workers for this. So as the feature is getting built, you get a little preview URL that you can share with stakeholders. You can immediately start doing testing with the real deal as opposed to a prototype. And more importantly, it just feels much more real. Like in a demo environment, you often don't have to deal with browser permissions. You don't have to deal with reality. And this forces you to get closer to that, especially with what's being developed right now. I'm going to need a little bit of help for the next section. So if you could get your phones ready. In the screenshots that I've shown you, there's a draft PR up. I'm going to need you to submit a feature idea. I'm a bit stuck. I'm working on a to-do list. And yeah, we're stuck debating what we should do next on that feature. So if someone could leave a comment. Oh, okay, 1 second. My demo is not working. So I will change this to entire screen. There we go. So I've got GitHub open. I've got my pull requests. And you can see I opened this up late last night. I've got a little deploy preview there that shows me what is in development right now. So I've got a little test environment that's been spun up with my cute little to-do list. I'll add a dark mode support. Okay, I can do that. So we're going to vibe together a little dark mode. Support for Korean translations. Ooh, confetti. Oh, I've beaten you slightly to the punch there with little donuts. And if I was building this in a commercial environment, I can share my commit preview so that stakeholders can see what's being built live. And while that is happening, I will, okay, the Opus, do your thing, please. Let's see if this works. Ooh, I like that. Straight after this, I guess I'm almost done. This is just, I mean, that's the thing with demos, right? Sometimes they go a little off the rails. It's a shame. It's a real shame. Real shame. Yeah, I guess it's overthinking at this point. Yeah. Oh, wow, it's even doing empty state SVG illustrations with dark mode. Very comprehensive. Okay. Anyway, while this is happening, what I was gonna demo was that change took, say, 2 minutes, right? In those 2 minutes, they would have shipped to a preview link, and you could have given that to a stakeholder, brought them into this PR, made a decision, and just shipped it. It's much better than writing. I mean, I think for small features, it beats writing tickets in Jira.
Who likes Jira here?
But I guess the point I make is that if you're centralizing all of this here, it beats having to dig through like 12 different documentation tools. If you're making product decisions in one place, it really speeds things up. But I guess Opus is taking its sweet time, so I'm going to kill that. And merge the pull request, given that we finished our work. But yeah, that concludes my quick little demo. And yeah, I mean, Opus took too long, so let's skip that. Questions?
I had one. Oh, sorry. I was going to bleed into join into the next.
Yeah.
You thought about adding authentic workflows so that when the PR comment is actually made, automatically kicks off a coding agent to the work. And possibly you could have kick it off when someone thumbs up, when you get 5 thumbs up, you get votes, and it doesn't kick it off if you don't get enough votes. Some fun, because I know that's what Sanan's going to talk about next.
Ooh, okay. Sounds very productive.
Yeah, I mean, hey,
Yeah, that's really.
Have you looked at that, or is that something you could work in here and it didn't work like?
Yeah, we've been doing some of that in Slack, but not really in GitHub at the moment. Good idea to move it there, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't.
Knowing that this is working for you in your current day-to-day job, but what is the intention or the boundaries of responsibility? So is this for a designer to pick up the POC design, mount data, and then you would hand that over to a front-end engineer?
Oh no, everything, the end-to-end workflow would live in the PR until that feature is complete. So not
engineer that's collaborating.
Yes, not just front-end engineer, but everyone. Yeah, like it makes it easy to chime in. For example, if you have a non-technical collaborator who can only use Lovable, at least that way they can still demo. Well, they can still include the prototype in the product discussion, and at least it's. I mean, it gives you a timeline. It's like here's a concept, here are the changes, here's the concept, here are the changes. It keeps track. I mean, with the way Git works, I mean, at least that way it keeps track of how things are changing.
Disciplines, product
designer,
developer would have their IDE and there'd be code to.
I mean, if you're a designer, you don't necessarily need an IDE, right? You just stay in. You could just stay in the GitHub PR comments. You don't have to jump into the code yourself, and I guess that's a nice thing about it.
Who's executing the prompts then?
Who's executing?
In your case, you had your IDE up,
Yes.
and you were putting the prompts, right? So
Yeah. So whoever owns the code on that feature would be. But that's the nice thing. If whoever owns the code can, but you can just fire up an IDE given if you have Git access and just start contributing. Like you can start branching. Like there's nothing blocking you from learning to jump in essentially. And it's something that we've set up at Watchful.
I'll just spin it a little differently. So is everyone writing code, or is it only the front-end engineer that's writing code?
It depends. Sometimes everyone, sometimes the front-end engineer. Yeah. Yeah.
The PR is like some initial thing called dead, which creates PR.
Yes.
Shows then the preview, and then someone adds a comment, I want to act dark mode.
Mhm.
So it's not executed automatically. Someone has to go and do it.
At the moment, yes, but I think Sinan has some very interesting workflows that resolves that agentically.
Someone needs to get the comment out, put it in whatever an IDE or whatever a CLI somewhere
yeah.
to actually do something.
Yes.
That then using automatically pick that up and run it and run code.
Mm.
Just a question, is it possible or recommended even to multiple people try and make changes using agents at the same time? Or do you kind of do one after another, like on the same branch?
I would branch on branch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, everyone loves merge conflicts. Yeah. Cool. No more questions. Yeah. Any questions? Oh, any questions online?
Nothing's come through yet online.
All right, cool. But yeah, thanks for your time. I'm at Walt online, and yeah, thanks for hearing me rant about design and Git.